Hi, I'm John. This is my show, An American Scheme, where I'm proving that Diana Ross is Michael Jackson's actual mother. So, I'm going to show you how on a video like this, it's where I have this bunch of information, okay? But now if I wanted to go and search for the videos to make, because a big part of making the videos is to try and make them a little prettier. You have to go and find the photos and the videos that link up, and then that's what makes the video a little bit more appealing. Or if I just do a straight video like this, just on this kind of page, see, there's no theatrics to it, you know? It's just, and then the other part is that when I get into this kind of video, this one thing, there's so much revolving around it that this is why I don't do this video, because every time I start getting into it, and then if I want to start pulling in some of the theatrics, some of the other evidence of videos and stuff, this video just gets way out of control. It goes way too much, and this is just kind of one simple little thing. And so that's what I'm kind of trying to show you here. I'm just going to go through this really quick. I'm trying to get through it quick. There's kind of so much here, and that's what I'll just kind of show you. For me to even get through a little thing like this, how difficult, there's so much information, then how do I get people to watch it if they don't like what I'm talking about? I'm not making it theatrical with other videos, right? I'm just showing you some basic, simple information here. So this is like one of those things that I have to deal with. And so I've been wanting to make this video, but like I said, there's too much stuff here, and I haven't known exactly how to talk about this and stuff. So let me just show you kind of why I want to talk about this so much. So Rhonda Ross Kendrick, that would be Rhonda Ross, formerly known as Rhonda Ross Gordy, you know, then actually here would be Rhonda Suzanne Silberstein would be her born name. So she's a tricky one, but this would be Diana Ross's first known child. So if Michael Jackson's not the child of Diana Ross, then her first known child, okay, would be this Rhonda Ross. So let's look at the reality of what happened in Diana Ross's life with her first known child and stuff, right? Which, when you see to the Michael, you'll see that this thing here, there's a bunch of weird stuff going on here, and it's like, and it shows you how all the Michael stuff, it's really weird. That's why I was saying, even to get into this and explain it, there's a lot here. It's hard for me to explain this because there's so much information and it relates to Michael so much. So, first we'll read here. So, okay, so Rhonda Ross, born Rhonda Suzanne Silberstein. See, I think they actually put her on the birth certificate, they put Silberstein. And see, that's the thing where I'm saying, there's so much here. So on Michael, where I'm saying, where he's the Jackson, and then they did that to him, and I think that shows the signs of how Diana then put Silberstein on this, where she knew it was Gordy. They knew when the kid was born, it obviously wasn't the child of the Silberstein, who was the Ellis, is the other thing. They knew it wasn't his kid, obviously, that's the kid of Berry Gordy, but they put Silberstein on her birth certificate and let her live that way until, like, later I'll show you, where they didn't tell her till she's 13 years old. Like I say, there's so much here. So then I get just right here to the birthday. So she's born August 14th, 1971. So Diana Ross then would have been pregnant basically all of the time of 1970. Okay, and that's when she marries the Silberstein, is right when, I think it's right basically probably when she finds out she's pregnant. And see, she kind of trapped him too. It's like, she's like, I'm pregnant, you got to marry me now. So he marries her. Then the baby comes out, and the baby's dark. The Silberstein guy's a Jewish white guy. So the baby comes out, and the baby's darker than Diana. It's even darker because it's Berry Gordy's kid. So, but they went ahead, and the Silberstein just raised Rhonda as it was his own child. So here, the other key things about this reality is, like, so Michael Jackson, when they moved to California and the Jacksons are living in a combination of Diana Ross and Berry Gordy's house. That would be from mid-1969 up until the end of 1970, which you'll see is that the dates align with, that's what aligns with when Diana then marries the Ellis Silberstein guy. That's when the Jacksons, like, move out of the house. It's right at that same time, you know? But then the reality is, like I said, the Rhonda Ross Gordy, she's the daughter of Berry Gordy. So up until that time, where Diana officially hooks up with Silverstein and gets married to him, she had to have been dating him for a little while. Plus, she's also dating Berry Gordy still. Her relationship with him hasn't officially ended yet, okay? And then, while Diana has the relationship going on with Berry Gordy and the Ellis Silverstein, Michael Jackson's living in her house. So what I'm saying? The information revolving around this, I've just got the first line. This is why I haven't got into this, because it just gets crazy and it's so much information. That's why I haven't known how to tell you people about these stories and stuff and to get into it, because it's so much. So the Jacksons, they're living in that house the whole time. So Michael's living in that house. He's watching Diana dating Berry Gordy, watching her dating then the Silverstein. Then she gets pregnant. Then the kid comes out, and the kid's dark skinned, but they're calling the kid Silverstein and saying it's the Ellis's child. So Michael saw all that happen. He saw... It's crazy. It's really crazy. That was the environment of that's how I'm saying, the environment of what Michael was experiencing there. It's a crazy environment. It's crazy what's going on. So, it says a singer, raised by Ross. Yeah. So on the next line down it says, raised by Ross and her first husband, Robert Ellis Silverstein. Her biological father is Motown record founder Berry Gordy. Okay, but then so down here, early life. Okay, so right here, at the time of Rhonda's birth, Diana was married to her first husband, Robert Ellis Silverstein. Okay. Ross, Gordy, and Silverstein all knew of Rhonda's parentage. She was publicly presented as the daughter of Ross and Silverstein. See what I'm saying? So Diana Ross was married to Silverstein, and then when that child was born, they put on her birth certificate Silverstein. They named her as she's legally Silverstein. And then when they went out in public, they always announced her as that Rhonda was actually his daughter. Okay, that's actually what they did. That's what I'm saying is like, this is shows you the patterns of like with the Michael stuff, and how does Diana fall into these patterns, because she already went through all this stuff with Michael, and it shows because she falls right into that pattern so naturally, right, with her first child and everything going on. So, daughter of Silverstein, and he raised her. Okay, so when she was 13, she was told Gordy was her biological father. Okay, Ross Kendrick had said that the revelation came as a relief. She was beginning to notice physical differences between herself and her younger sisters. Okay, so she starts, as they start getting older, she realizes, I'm black, you know? She's like, my sisters are mixed. They're even lighter than Diana, because that's the difference. Rhonda's darker than Diana, and then when you get to like Tracy Ellis Ross, okay? So Tracy Ellis Ross, that would be the first daughter. So after Rhonda Ross, then Diana has Tracy Ellis, okay? So she's a big star and stuff. So, but she's light-skinned, okay? So Rhonda's looking at Tracy, and they're saying that they got the same parents, and Rhonda's like, I don't look like her. I don't know what's going on here. We totally look different. So it says Rhonda was even noticing that and wondering that I don't look like them. I look different. But she wasn't told officially till she was 13 years old. And that's what I'm saying with the patterns. Look at how Diana covered up the birth of who her actual biological father was, covered it all up, then misleads her all throughout her life, doesn't tell her who her real dad is till she's 13 years old. These weird little things about what she actually does, what she did to her kids. Now, this is the other big thing about... I was talking with this person today earlier. Gene Bennett was asking me if I believe that anybody of these Michael's friends and people he had associated with, if he had ever mentioned to them the truth. Like, would any of them actually have known that Michael was the son of Diana Ross and Smokey Robinson? And And I keep saying, no, he would have kept it a secret. And she was thinking more like, nah, there's probably somebody. And it's like, no, this is why. And this is why that it had to remain a secret, because Michael, it's way more involved. The people that are actually involved, once you got Diana Ross hooked up with Berry Gordy, now you've got, so I'm saying Diana Ross is Michael's real mom. So that's a blood relation to any children that Diana Ross has had, then that's blood relation to Michael. And Diana Ross's first kid is Berry Gordy's kid. So that means Michael Jackson has a blood relation then to Rhonda, which she's a blood relative to Berry Gordy, which means that Michael technically is related to any of Berry Gordy's kids and Berry Gordy and all. Michael's actually is related to them. There is a relation there. So that's what I'm saying. The connection to Michael and then if Michael tells the truth, there goes all the Jacksons. But let me just show you some of the people here it mentions about Rhonda. This is her relatives, right? So first of all, her parents. So Rhonda Ross's mom is Diana Ross. Her father, Robert Ellis Silberstein, which he would be the father of Tracy Ellis, and he was also a big manager in Hollywood. He's probably a known guy much more than what we know of. He's actually a known guy. So Berry Gordy would be her father, okay? So then because of that lineage, they say relatives. So the Carrie Ashby Gordy, they say he's like a big executive for Motown, okay? So he's Berry Gordy's son. So these are people that are related to Rhonda, okay? So then she's now Rockwell. Now everybody, you all as Michael Jackson fans, you know that Michael Jackson did that Rockwell song. Okay, so Rockwell, he's a child of Berry Gordy. And then Michael Jackson did the song, I always feel like somebody's watching me. Okay, that's the Rockwell song where Michael then did that part on it, okay? So Michael's actually related. They're actually related. Because Michael's related to Rhonda. Rhonda's a sister of Rockwell. So they're actually, he's not a blood relative of Rockwell, but he's related. His blood sister is blood to them. I mean, so then Redfro, Redfro is one of the guys of the LMFAO band, Redfro. And so he's also a child of Berry Gordy. He's part of the Berry Gordy family. Then Tracy Ellis Ross, so she would be Diana Ross's kid, so she's a big star. And then Evan Ross. And so Evan Ross, and he married that girl, I always forget her name, and she's got the other sister. But now their families like that stuff too, but that would be way after and stuff. But so just right there, the people then that are related to Michael's directly related to these families. With Diana as his mom, he's actually like blood, they're family. So Michael can't come out and tell the truth. Look at he can't expose Berry Gordy because his mom, Diana Ross, had a kid from Berry Gordy. They're actually like family, real family. He can't tell on the Jacksons because they raised him, and he can't just dismantle that whole thing, Then you got all these other people involved through Diana Ross and Berry Gordy. All of these people, there's way too many people here, way too many people involved, and that's why Michael and all them, they did keep the secret, They kept the secret. They never, and it's weird because Diana was flaunting it so much. And I do think what happened was when it first happened and Michael was living with Diana, I think Diana was at that time, she was like wanting to claim. She was like battling. Should I take ownership of this? What do we do? I think she was trying to deal with the kind of thing, and that's where Joe Jackson is, when you hear about Joe Jackson not liking Diana Ross, is because she was doing that stuff, and Joe Jackson's like, so you're going to screw my whole family. I did all this work, and Joe Jackson's saying, I took the kid in, I nurtured the kid, I raised the kid, I made him a star. You gave him away. That's what Joe Jackson, the way he's like, you gave him away. You gave him away. So don't be coming back to me telling me all this stuff that you're going to take care of him now. So that's why Joe would be like, screw you, Diana. Screw you. I did everything. And that's why Joe takes ownership of all of it. Because he did. Without him, what happens? It's a crazy situation. And that's just part of like talking about the Rhonda Ross Kendrick and understanding the dates of what happened with her birthday right there in 1971. Understanding that when she gets pregnant, Michael's living with Diana, then the Berry Gordy and all this situation. And then they performing together, all of the stuff like that, from when the Jacksons moved to California and they're living with Diana Ross up until the time of where she meets the Ellis Silberstein guy. Up until that point, I mean, if we could really get an understanding of what happened in Michael Jackson's life with Diana Ross during just that period, and then all the evidence right there of what happened clearly shows the proof of my story, because there's no way that all of the things that are happening, they do not happen like that. They don't evolve that way. None of that stuff happens unless my story's true.